Women cannot resist this type of man who understands these 4 principles. And when you actually master these in your life, it won't just affect your dating life, your attraction, and your overall results in relationships, but more importantly, it's going to affect the type of man you are today. When you are secure within yourself, when you own who you are, and you no longer reject yourself to receive attention from other people. So let's get into today's video. Number 1 is emotional control. And why this is so important for men to understand is we as women really do desire safety above anything else. If there is something that makes us feel unsafe within you, it's going to allow us to either want to distance ourselves, maybe feel uncomfortable in certain situations, or view you in a less respectful way, depending on your actions when you yourself are in emotional states. Now, we hear a lot that women are emotional, and I can back that. Yes, we are. But men also have emotion. And I don't think this is something we talk about collectively as a society, of the importance of a man understanding his own emotional states and the self-empowerment that can come when he is not overtaken by his emotions. And the importance of being a self-aware man is where we need to start. How do you handle confrontation in your life? Your own states that can trigger reactivity. And I think for a lot of people, we tend to not practice how to be in a relationship when we're single. So when we get ourselves into one, we can project a lot of our own triggers onto our partner. So a man who can actually take the time today, learn about your emotions, have tools in your toolkit for when people do trigger you, you have enough patience with yourself and therefore with other people to not react, rather respond to the situation at hand. Leading yourself to resolution is a great way to show a woman that you can do the same for her. And this will naturally make you stand out within your own character. Moving on to principle number 2 that women cannot resist within a man is when you prioritize your purpose over your pleasure. You're in it for the long term and not the short term dopamine hits that can come from fast food, porn, social media, and depleting your life force energy in all the ways that come from distraction. And a man who has created comfortability within distraction is ultimately a man who is avoiding his greatness, his success, and his potential. So when you can show a woman that you see your potential clearly, you hold yourself to a high standard. To be honest, not a lot of men even have within themselves, is a standard you can live up to, look up to, and to be constantly motivated towards. And this is something that takes a high amount of discipline, a high amount of self-control. But guess what? Those are the 2 things you need right now today to obtain to better your life. And this takes practice, but the moment you can actually find yourself in a place of wanting to get rid of all of the things in your life today that are limiting your potential, draining your energy, and therefore making you weakened in a society that wants it that way. And there is something so attractive with a man who wakes up on purpose and doesn't wake up prioritizing the pleasures that come from the constant distractions that are out there. I think a man who sees his purpose clearly, and sometimes it doesn't have to be this large thing. It could be, hey, I want to be a really great dad one day. And what do I need to do right now, regardless of your age, to show up as him? And when you do that, you are rewiring your brain to prepare yourself for that future outcome one day that you are working towards. And that is actually activating something very masculine within yourself that will attract women to you like a moth to a flame. Number 3 is a man who has met himself at his own depths. He's taught himself how to swim within the currents and the waves of this reality. When you have met yourself there, you can then swim in another person's depth. And this is something we as women look for in long-term partnerships, is how deep are you as a person? It's very easy to be consumed by the shallowness of what this society and culture has driven us to want. The beauty, the riches, the followers, all the glitz and the glam. But more importantly, we want genuine people who can back us, who have got our back, who are not just there for the surface level things. and ask her questions that have everything to do with highlighting who she is and the gift of her authenticity. When you can show her you're a gentleman, but not just a nice guy who's doing these things just to get something out of her, but you're doing it because that's just who you are, that's your character, that's how you live, and you will not only impress her, but you have imprinted something within her that she may have never experienced at all. And last but not least is a man who is willing to understand women rather than blame them. Now, what I mean by this is you see a lot of dating advice of really how to play the game to get the results you want and to really manipulate women using these certain types of personas that ultimately don't really get you far. The more you are willing to learn about female nature rather than hate female nature, knowledge is power. And I think for men and women, we should learn what our partner in the future or now, what they really need, what they really desire, and not look for opportunities to place blame. Rather get curious over why are women the way they are. Now, learning these things right now, whether you're single or in a relationship, the only effect it's going to bring is one of success. And the more we can understand each other is the more we actually get to find harmony and balance. And when you can master all of these 4 things in your life, you will actually get to see different results appear because you're no longer coming into dating or coming into attracting women from a place of desperation, of need, of want. You're more so a magnet because you're secure within yourself. And that is something we as women cannot resist. So I hope you guys liked today's video. And if you did, please give this video a like, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.